Media Network. Trojans Live is an exclusive presentation of Playfly Sports on 710 ESPN and the ESPN LA Trojan Media Network. Presented by Pachanga Resort Casino.
Hi, it's LeBron. The Lakers play here.
710 ESPN.
KSPN, Los Angeles.
A Good Karma Brands radio station. This is Lakers Talk on 710 ESPN.
Where Lakers fans tap in for all the latest surrounding the purple and gold.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute. When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
An off-season edition of Lakers Talk is on.
Here's Andy Kamenetsky.
What is up, Lakers fans? Thank you very much for tuning in to Lakers Talk. Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN, here on our hopefully normal time throughout the season, unless we are preempted by, say, the Rams on Monday night, or very, very soon the possibility of being preempted by your Los Angeles Lakers. As the season gets closer and closer, we are exactly a week away from Media Day and training camp and the season officially underway. So a lot to cover.
October 3rd, Andy.
October 3rd?
Yes, sir.
October 3rd. That is the first preseason game of this season. Who are they playing that game? You remember off the top of your head?
I want to say the Warriors, but I might be wrong.
Okay, it could be the Warriors.
What about the Suns, maybe?
Maybe the Suns. I know they've got a match coming up against the Dallas Mavericks in the preseason.
Suns.
Okay. Well, because I know that they are going to try as much as they can to milk the whole Luka v. Dallas revenge tour thing, which, by the way, definitely going to talk about during the show. Rob Pelinka had some interesting comments to Dave McMenamin from ESPN about both the present and the future with Luka Doncic, some of the plans that they may have that could affect this actual season as opposed to 2026 or 2027, which reportedly had been a very big focus and priority for the Lakers as they were envisioning the Luka era. Some things may have changed. We're going to get into that. I'm going to hit on some questions that I've had rattling around in my head with training camp opening next week, some of the overarching themes and questions that could define the Lakers season. Also, ESPN has a poll of coaches and execs and scouts with season and player predictions. We're going to discuss that over the next 2 hours. Some really bad news for the Houston Rockets. Point guard Fred VanVleet tore his ACL during a workout. He might end up missing the entire season. Obviously, you do not root for injuries, period, full stop. This is really bad. But that being said, injuries are a part of the deal, and this may create a shakeup in the Western Conference, the way things are perceived. The Houston Rockets, having brought in Kevin Durant, they are considered one of, if not, they're considered one of the inner circle, I think, contenders to get out of the West, maybe win a championship this year, just on the strength of what they did last year ahead of schedule, then bringing in Kevin Durant. Losing Fred VanVleet is a very big deal, and that may create potential opportunities for other teams in the West. The Lakers may be one of them, so we're going to talk about that. At 7:30, going to be joined by Claire De Lune, one of our favorites, one of your favorites. She covers the Lakers and the NBA for the Guardian. So, again, that's coming up at 7:30. And, as always, your calls, 877-710-ESPN, 877-710-ESPN. If you want to weigh in on anything that we've talked about, you want to weigh in on what Claire brings up, you want to weigh in on any of the questions you have, like some of the thoughts you're thinking about ahead of the season, things that you might want to hear Rob Pelinka and JJ Redick talk about in Thursday's upcoming press conference Thursday afternoon. JJ and Rob will be in front of the media in El Segundo. That's ahead of next week's training camp and media day opening up. So if you have any thoughts about that, 877-710-ESPN. But I want to begin with some recent comments from Rob Pelinka talking about the Luka era and the Lakers' immediate future. And this was with Dave McMenamin, who covers the Lakers for ESPN, friend of the show, had a piece that ran on Friday about the Lakers essentially being newly energized and inspired about the Luka era after seeing Luka's incredibly strong work in Eurobasket, the way he really carried Slovenia on his back to get them as far as they went in that tournament. And between that and the offseason commitment to fitness and Luka's very stated, obvious desire to win, like right now, and that the Lakers may end up more aggressive right now than had been expected or reported, like that they might be more willing to make trades that could eat into their immediate cap space, stuff that could cost the Lakers some optionality, a word Rob Pelinka often likes to use, but according to Rob in comments to ESPN, may be more wide-ranging a word than people always think. Quote, Luka's play in Eurobasket made it clear to the entire basketball world that he is on that incredibly short list of best player on the planet candidates, if not at. This is from Rob Pelinka. In terms of team building, we've talked about the importance of having optionality. And when I use that word, it's not to say in the future. I think optionality is also in the now, having both Luka as arguably the best player on the planet and LeBron James, who is still in the mix of being one of the great players in our game, even at his age, continues to allow us to think carefully about the value of that optionality. And then Rob Pelinka says, if there are smart ways to pour into our championship aspirations for next year, we will execute on those. And having seen those two players on our team next year, Luka and LeBron, as an important moment, we will continue to try to do all we can to deliver this franchise its 18th championship. Later in the piece, a source talking about Luka Doncic told ESPN he stresses every single day that his desire is to win a championship. He trusts the front office to do their part, and he trusts what they're building. And before even getting into what that might mean for the Lakers roster in the immediate future moves this year, I think it reinforces the idea that Luka Doncic and the Lakers have remained in continual contact. Like at one point, Jeannie Buss, Rob Pelinka, the Ramby, a few other guys, Dr. Leroy Sims, they all went to Poland to support Luka as he was competing with Slovenia. And going halfway across the planet to do that for Luka, it meant a lot to him. And it's also, though, part of just a continual communication and dialogue between Luka and the Lakers, and it emphasizes how they are looking to maintain a partnership between superstar and franchise, the same way they often talked about and acted upon the partnership with LeBron James and Anthony Davis during the LeBron AD era. Like, the majority of that time had been spent in, I think, a pretty active, open partnership. And they're also not leaving anything open to interpretation or guesswork with what Luka wants. They are staying in contact with him to find that out. And what was interesting about this, too, is I remember, like, when there had been all those reports about the emphasis on 2027 and, that the Lakers might ultimately not make too many moves of significance because they want to make sure that they have open cap space and that type of setup for Giannis or for Nikola Jokic. At the time, I kept saying, I don't really believe that this is their number one priority because it really would be kind of stupid. Like the idea of essentially sitting on your hands for 2 years of your generational superstars' prime for the possible chance of getting Giannis in 2 years. Like, that would just be dumb. But what really matters, because I remember a lot of people said you can't do this as you're trying to get Luka to sign this extension. My reaction was always, they should know whether or not Luka's cool with this. Like, if Luka was cool with waiting, I wouldn't get why. But what matters is what Luka wants, not what I think is a good idea, what DeAndre thinks is a good idea, Funchy, fans, the people who cover this team. What matters is what Luka thinks. And it's very clear that they are running stuff by Luka. and that they are looking to build in a way that works with Luka. I don't know how much I buy the idea of them being newly inspired by seeing Luka in Slovenia. Like, I'd like to think they had a pretty good idea that this dude they've bent over backwards to make happy from the moment they acquired him, and they gave him a max deal before Luka even went to Slovenia. I'd like to think they were pretty confident that he's worth building around right now. But, and who knows also, too, it's important to note, Rob Pelinka can say these things and intimate that they are looking to be more aggressive moving forward and that they will look for moves right now. If there's nothing for him to do, he can just message that without actually doing anything, and it could just be messaging what he thinks Luka wants to hear. He could be messaging what he thinks fans want to hear, media wants to hear, because he wants to try to make sure everybody thinks that they are looking to make these aggressive moves, even if he feels like, I don't know if we can. Because, like right now, there doesn't seem to be many opportunities for the Lakers to do something really aggressive. Go ahead.
Do you think when the Lakers went over there, all the people in their, contingency or whatever, they were there to keep the pierogies out of Luka's mouth? He wasn't Poland.
Okay, you say this, but according, first of all, pierogies,
really good, really
they're
good,
great.
Oh my goodness!
But in Dave's piece, because this is now the trend that is in all profiles and all articles, anything involving a meal, you lay out what was eaten. Like, it's very important in the first few, 2-3 paragraphs that you make sure everyone knows what they ate. I believe Jeannie had a salad. Rob Pelinka had some fish. Luka, I believe, had some steak and vegetables and maybe even a bit of potatoes. He's working his ass.
That's lean meat.
Well, he's look, it was not specific whether it was like a filet that's more lean or a ribeye that's more fatty. But let's be honest, Luka's earned it. Luka has worked really hard this offseason.
He puts out a lot of calories.
Right.
He works out a lot.
He is burning calories. Yeah. He is entitled to a little bit of
Slovenia.
He is entitled to a little bit of a cheat meal now and then. But like I was saying, there is a chance that this is Rob Pelinka being sincere, but also messaging what he thinks Luka wants to hear, what LeBron may want to hear, what fans may want to hear, what media may want to hear. But there's another very important person that I also wonder if he may be messaging what he wants to hear. Rob messaging what this person may want to hear. An interesting theory floated on the Lakers Film Room podcast that I will bring up coming up next. And we're also going to talk about the Rockets injury and Fred VanVleet and how this may affect the Lakers. Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN.
They might stumble. They might fall.
So, I fall. Kind of, sort of frequently.
Yes.
But DeMarco and Travis always get back up.
During a 5K at Angel Stadium, I fall. Okay, this is my lot.
This is what he does.
Still at the golf course.
But you get back up.
I get so far.
Yeah, you get up. There you go.
Catch the DeMarco and Travis afternoon show weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. on 710 ESPN, the ESPN LA app, and streaming on YouTube at ESPN Los Angeles.
Los Angeles, your Rams return home to SoFi Stadium for a Week 4 showdown versus the Indianapolis Colts. You don't want to miss this AFC-NFC showdown, so bring all your energy and pack the Rams house. To purchase your tickets, head to therams.com/IND. Again, that is therams.com/IND. To see your Rams battle the Colts on Sunday, September 28th at 1:05 p.m. See you at the Rams house.
Looking for paint that actually lasts? Vista Paint delivers expert quality, rich color, and pro-trusted durability, backed by over 60 years of experience. From your home to your next big project, we've got you covered. Vista Paint, since 1956.
Hey, it's Chris Morales. We joke around a lot that I almost died, which I almost did. I had severe heart failure. That's when I went to a Providence hospital in the emergency room. And here's the thing about heart care. It begins with trust. That's why Providence takes the time to listen, understand, and earn yours before making any decision about your care. For me, if it wasn't for Dr. Cobb and Katie Cornella at St. Joe's in Orange, they made me trust them and they made me know. And my health and my life were going to be even better once I got out of the hospital. Providence, caring with compassion in Southern California.
Hey, soccer fans, want to be at the biggest match of the season? San Antonio Cardinale Wine is giving you the chance to win 2 tickets, plus flights and hotel to the final match of the season. Feel the roar of the crowd, the energy of every goal, and see who will raise the cup live and in person. Don't wait. Head to SoccerDreamTicket.com and enter now. That's SoccerDreamTicket.com. Brought to you by San Antonio Cardinale. A perfect game day wine. Enter today at SoccerDreamTicket.com.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, hims.com/joy.
710 ESPN.
The radio home of the purple and gold and the home of Lakers talk.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute.
When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
More Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetsky rolls on.
One of the all-time great soundtracks, The Harder They Come, man. So good. Give me Cliff, Toots and the Maytals, just fantastic soundtrack. Really good low-budget movie, too. Very groundbreaking in its own right.
Yeah, they made it for like $50, right?
Yep. If that.
It looks like
$50 rounding up. But it became a really popular cult film. And, again, one of the all-time great soundtracks, The Harder They Come. Andy Kamenetsky, Lakers Talk, 710 ESPN. Reminder, about 15 minutes, we'll be joined by Claire De Lune, covers the Lakers and the NBA for The Guardian. And we're going to get into, in a second, the Fred VanVleet injury. It was announced today, reported by Shams Charania, that he tore his ACL during an offseason workout, and he might miss the entire season. Like, that is a live possibility, and obviously that sucks. You never root for injuries, like, period. But they're a fact of life in sports, and they may end up opening opportunities for other teams around the West, and we'll get into why and whether or not the Lakers could potentially be one of these beneficiaries of it. But I want to mention one more possibility in talking earlier about Rob Pelinka signaling through comments to Dave McMenamin from ESPN. The Lakers, the optionality that Rob has talked about before, that people have always assumed is more about cap space and the future and never wanting to box yourself in, that the optionality may also apply to this season and looking to make moves aggressive for this season to try to win this season, as opposed to what has been widely reported, an emphasis on next offseason or maybe even the 2027 offseason, because they've wanted optionality so they can have space available for Giannis if potentially available, or Jokic if potentially available. And I'd mentioned that this could be Pelinka signaling what he knows a lot of people, from Luka to LeBron to fans to media, want to hear. But over at the Lakers Film Room podcast, Pete Zayas and Darius Soriano, great pod, by the way. Once you've listened to Locked on Lakers, available 5 days a week everywhere you get your podcast, Monday through Friday. Always free, and for the sickos who like to watch, there's a YouTube component. That's my podcast.
18 minutes,
obviously.
man.
18 minutes.
18 segment.
I'm a little bit distracted. I'm watching right now Monday Night Football. I'm in a race right now for High Point in my fantasy league, so I'm a little bit off my game. But they floated an interesting theory that maybe if Rob's intentions this season have changed, or his focus has changed, maybe this could be the presence of Mark Walter, who is not yet the primary owner of this team and the ultimate shot caller yet. There's still paperwork and procedure and voting to go through. That transfer has not taken place yet. But short of something incredibly stunning happening, that's going to be a thing moving forward. And therefore, what Mark Walter wants already matters. And everybody in that front office, especially since Mark Walter had been a minority owner before, and had always been he had been both the rumored highest candidate to take over as primary owner in the event that the Buss family sold, but also, too, he was the highest stakeholder among minority stakeholders beyond the Buss family, so it was literally first right of refusal. This has been something that Mark Walter, I'm sure, has been thinking about forever in his time with the Lakers, and I'm sure he has had fully formed opinions of this organization, and that people like Rob Pelinka have had an idea of what Mark Walter would want even then, much less now. Mark Walter, there's a possibility that he has been, if not overtly saying, dropping hints like, hey, this team with Luka and LeBron and Austin Reeves still in a cost-controlled contract, we should be looking to go all in right now, or looking to be aggressive right now. So this may reflect, if Rob Pelinka's intentions or perceptions have changed, this might actually just reflect the presence of Mark Walter shifting all this, because everybody in a lot of ways is doing their job, trying to impress Mark Walter for job security. And look, one thing Rob Pelinka has always been very good at is managing up. So who knows, DeAndre? Maybe this is the influence of Mark Walter just being like, let's be aggressive now. Let's do this now. Worry about the later.
And they should. I mean, you have this era right now. You still got LeBron James. You can still maximize what he has in store at this point of his career. You got Luka Doncic in his prime. Like, why not go after a championship now? And then if things don't go the way you anticipate it being, you still got the offseason for next season. We can still build around Luka Doncic. And like you said, all signs pointing towards Luka Doncic and him agreeing to things and going out and get DeAndre Ayton and Marcus Smart. Who knows what that can lead to in the offseason with Luka Doncic and how more aggressive he can be. So, like, now's the time to just keep on being aggressive.
Especially now, too, with this injury to VanVleet, which really sucks for Fred VanVleet. And also, it's a big deal for the Rockets. Like, they were considered I think they were considered the consensus winner of this offseason by bringing in Kevin Durant, but also bringing in Dorian Finney-Smith and bringing in Clint Capella and retaining Steven Adams and just fortifying that roster. They locked up Jabari Smith Jr. It's expected that they're going to work out a deal with Tari Eason. Like, they've got a really good young squad that is particularly good defensively, but they have needed a primary scorer, like a guy that when the offense breaks down, you can go to. That's Durant. But to me, the biggest weakness on this roster was playmaking. And Fred VanVleet is the best pure playmaker on that roster. And if he's not there, then either a guy like Amin Thompson needs to start stepping up his playmaking, Alperen Şengün, like running sets through the post, a guy like Reed Shepherd, their second year, I believe he was third overall pick last year, didn't play much last year because the team was ahead of schedule, but they were expecting him to get more time this season anyway. They now need him to be ready, because if those guys can't fill the void for VanVleet, then it starts turning into Durant being kind of a point forward scorer, which we know he can do, but at his age, that's not what you want to have happen. It's one of those emergency type things. And then if for whatever reason they can't cobble together enough playmaking, it opens up possibilities in the West for teams like the Lakers to capitalize on.
And the workload for Kevin Durant is going to be even more now at this point. Because expecting Nero, like you said, he's supposed to be that plug-in guy. Go in there, create scoring, be that final guy we go to in the last 2 minutes of a game when you need scoring, go to him. And now, all of a sudden, the offense went from it's expanding out to where now the offense is slowly starting to close in, where Amin Thompson's not a guy that's going to be looking for a shot. Fred VanVleet was a guy, yes, he can play make, but he also can score. And he knew how to use his size in scoring. So they're going to be missing a lot of that. That's 15, 18 points that they're not going to be able to get from
one of my biggest skepticisms about the Rockets, because I do think they're a good team. I mean, they were good last year. You bring in Kevin Durant, you bring in DFS, some of those other guys. they project to be good. But I had questions about their playmaking with Fred VanVleet, just like the idea of when VanVleet is sitting, who takes over for that? Because they did not have a truly established backup point guard after VanVleet. Like, I know they've got Aaron Holiday, and he's fine.
Yeah, he's fine. They put him in 2-3 minutes though.
Right, he's a back of the rotation level player. Like at this stage of his career and throughout a lot of his career, he's a back of the rotation guy. It's fine, but you don't want to have to be counting on Aaron Holiday. If the Rockets really miss that presence of VanVleet, all of a sudden they had been considered pretty much a top 3 lock in the West. I think it was OKC, Denver, the Rockets. They were considered the consensus top 3 teams. Without VanVleet for most of the season, if not all of it, they could fall back a few spots pretty easily because they're still figuring out this new roster anyway, which is, again, why VanVleet was so important to have. You'd have him out there orchestrating a lot of these sets, getting everybody in their right places, and just making things easier for this transition. If the Rockets can't operate the way they had been planned just like a week ago, then the Wolves potentially have an opening to capitalize, the Clippers potentially, the Warriors, but also the Lakers. Like the Wolves, Clippers, Warriors, Lakers.
They're all the same.
They're
all battling for the 4 through to 7 or 8.
What about San Antonio?
This could
ready.
What? This could be an interesting opportunity for San Antonio. Like, one of the teams ahead of them is all of a sudden less than 100%. If they can stay healthy, if Wemby can stay on the court, maybe that does open an opportunity for them to get into that top 6. I checked, though, the Lakers, they don't play the Rockets until that Christmas Day game. That's the first time against Houston. So by then, the deadline will have passed, not the trade deadline, but the December 15th deadline, where a guy like, trying to think, I looked into immediately, my head went to immediately, would they be interested in Gabe Vincent? Maybe like Gabe Vincent for Steven Adams or Clint Capella. They've got a lot of center depth. The Lakers could use that. They need a point guard. But those guys are not trade eligible to December 15th. Like, there's basically no straight-up trade the Lakers could make with the Rockets.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Rockets go double big lineup like the Thunder.
Yeah.
And it's like, especially when you still got
They did a lot of that last year in the playoffs.
And exactly. And you still got Jabari Smith Jr. too. Like, Houston, I wouldn't count him. You know, I'm not saying you're saying that you're counting him out, but there's still a good roster on paper without Fred VanVleet, and who knows what adjustments they can make when that time comes.
Yeah, if the Lakers were, say, to try to, I don't want to say capitalize on because it sounds callous, but it is capitalizing on this injury for VanVleet and maybe finding a way to use Gabe Vincent, get him to Houston, and the Lakers either try to fill some of their wing depth issues that they have or center depth issues that they have, it would likely require a third team because the Rockets just have too many players that are not trade eligible right now. You know, similar to the way the Lakers can't trade Jake LaRavia till December 15th or DeAndre Ayton until December 15th, those type of rules. So it would require a third team. We can talk about that and other items about the Lakers with Claire De Lune, covers the Lakers in the NBA for The Guardian. That's coming up next. Lakers Talk, 710 ESPN.
One of LA's best kept secrets in the heart of Los Angeles, East Central Hotel offers effortless accommodations and unparalleled accessibility. The East Central Hotel is for everyone looking for entertainment with their trendy spacious rooms, a renovated gym, and a patio lounge for breakfast, dinner, and drinks. Stop by their incredible Nixo Lounge before your next event at LA Live. Book your stay at eastcentralhotel.com or call 213-748-1291 today at Entertainment's official address.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. We turn to some funny places for support, but not everyone is a therapist. Not everyone is the one. Find your right match with BetterHelp. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Find the one with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/timeout. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/timeout.
Football is back, and so is your shot at big wins with DraftKings Pick 6, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL. Your game day instincts can score you real money fast. Just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats, from breakout rookies to elite quarterbacks, and unlock the upside every snap brings. The better your call, the bigger your payout. New DraftKings customers gets $50 in bonus picks with just a $5 entry. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code KSPN. That's code KSPN. Play just $5, get $50 in Pick 6 bonus picks. Make the call. Ride the upside. In partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promo.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
An off-season edition of Lakers Talk continues on 710 ESPN. Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute.
When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
More Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetsky rolls on.
Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN. We are looking to track down Claire De Lune, covers the Lakers and the NBA for The Guardian. We had just been talking about the injury to Fred VanVleet and how it could open up possibilities for the Lakers to capitalize on, Timberwolves, Warriors, Clippers, some of those next-tier teams behind what have been the perceived Western Conference inner circle of Thunder, Nuggets, Rockets. VanVleet is expected to miss most, if not all, of next season for the Rockets after off-season ACL tear, just like during a workout, apparently. First of all, it's a reminder that for all of the concerns, and I'm among those who had been concerns or worried about Luka Doncic playing with Slovenia and Eurobasket and the possibilities of injury, and I get it. They make sense. We all remember what happened to Paul George with the Olympics and that awful leg break. The truth is, these guys work out all off season. So they are always vulnerable to some type of injury during the off season. Tyler Hero is now going to miss, I think, the first 1 or 2 months for Miami. And he also hurt himself just during off-season workout. It sucks, but it's the price that ultimately these guys all have to be willing to pay because they got to stay in shape in the offseason. Otherwise, we end up getting upset at them that they come into camp clearly looking out of shape and trying to play their way into shape, DeAndre.
I'm actually really, really excited for a full training camp with the Lakers. Like, I don't know what it is, but a full training camp with Luka Doncic and LeBron James. I mean, there's no telling what this Lakers team can do.
Well, I know another person excited for the Lakers training camp opening a week from today. She is Claire De Lune. She covers the Lakers and the NBA for The Guardian. You can follow her on Twitter at ClaireMPLS. Also, you can listen to her music. She records under the name Tiny Deaths. It's actually listening to a little bit of that today on Spotify. Claire, how are you?
Oh, nice. That's awesome. I'm good. This is an interesting setup they have me doing because I'm talking to you on the radio on my phone, and on YouTube on my mic/laptop. So I feel like it feels like I'm juggling, but hopefully I'll juggle well.
Well, I know you will juggle well, and B, this is when we were texting earlier about the appearance, and you asked me how this was set up, and I said to you, quite frankly, I don't know how they do it, and I can't really explain it. This gets to why. I don't know how they set this up with you, Claire. I just knew that they could.
Gotcha.
Well, you'll be. It's all good.
I'll be okay.
So training camp opens a week from today. This is looking like the roster that the Lakers are likely going to open the season with. The offseason, they lose Dorian Finney-Smith and Jordan Goodwin. They bring in DeAndre Ayton, Marcus Smart, and Jake LaRavia. What do you make of the Lakers offseason?
I mean, I'm kind of two minds about it, I guess. I think they did a really good job considering like either an inability or an unwillingness to make a bigger move. I lean towards maybe unwillingness, just based on historical precedent. But considering that they didn't really use very many assets, I think they did about as good as you could do. But I mean, they got probably the best big that they could, all things considered, and any big is better than no big, which is what they were dealing with before.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty high on Jake LaRavia. I think he has, some good upside. Yeah, I mean, I think overall they did fine. I would give it like a B, maybe.
Yeah, it's interesting. I would give it like a B+, and I feel like they did a very good job in terms of what was realistically possible for them. Like, it wasn't an A+, but I also don't think that they were actually in a position to even have an A+ offseason. Like, they didn't have enough assets. There wasn't really enough movement. Like, I think the consensus A+ offseason was the Rockets getting KD. The Lakers were never going to be able to do that. And then it just feels like they did as well as could be realistically possible. You mentioned, though, DeAndre Ayton, and that's a signing that's gotten a lot of attention, in part because, as you noted, he filled the most glaring hole for this team, which was a starting caliber center. And also, he is a really polarizing player. I'm pretty bullish about his future with the Lakers between just the upgrade in talent and contextually the situation that he's in right now and the potential opportunity. Like, this could be his last best chance to reestablish himself as a premier big. But I'm curious about your thoughts with the impending DeAndre Ayton era.
I mean, I think they're fortunate in the sense that he's in a contract year. So, I think that bodes well for how incentivized he's going to be and how well he's going to perform. Like, this is the last chance. This is, if this doesn't go well, if he flames out in LA, he's going to be out of the league almost certainly. Or at the very least, he's going to be stuck on another, vet min, best case scenario, just if the center market looks weak next summer. So I think he knows that and understands that and is going to be coming in highly motivated. I also think, it's hard to judge how guys perform on bad teams, because on the one hand, you can pick up bad habits on bad teams. Like, you see that happen when guys play in like Washington too long, although Washington is kind of turning it around now. No shade at Washington, but you can tend to pick up bad habits when you're not in a winning environment. But on the other hand, it's really hard to motivate yourself. Like, for example, on the defensive end, if you're on a team that is ultimately, basically tanking for draft capital. So I feel I'm cautiously optimistic, I would say, about DeAndre. I think he's set up to have a really good year. And if anyone can enable him to have a good year, I think Luka Doncic is obviously like a great lob partner. He's something of a center whisperer, I think. So I think, that bodes well for him as well.
Talking with Claire De Lune, covers the Lakers and the NBA for The Guardian. You can follow her on Twitter at Claire MPLS. Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN. You just mentioned Luka, and he's been very outwardly signaling a commitment and an excitement about this Luka era with the Lakers. Signed his contract the first morning possible. Skinny Luka. He's been recruiting guys like Ayton and Marcus Smart. Like, what are you anticipating from Luka for this season?
I mean, I think MVP season, not necessarily like he will win the MVP, but I would say MVP caliber season. I think he's been, he had an MVP caliber season 2 seasons ago. A lot of people very quickly forget he put up basically the same numbers, if not better, that Shea did in his MVP campaign last year, 2 years ago, and ultimately lost. But he was that good just a couple of seasons ago. And then last year, it was sort of a confluence of unfortunate events or whatever, like the trade happened, which was obviously traumatic for him. He was dealing with an injury. He was a little bit out of shape. So I think with kind of a summer to recover from the shell shock of all of that, in addition to being in tremendous shape, I fully expect him to have, injuries notwithstanding, to have an incredible season.
When you say an MVP level season, like I know that you weren't predicting that Luka would win MVP. And we're talking with Claire De Lune, covers the Lakers and the entire league for The Guardian. Follow her on Twitter at ClaireMPLS, Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN. But when you talked about an MVP caliber season, do you mean just in terms of his individual play, or that he could be in the mix because the Lakers are also having that good of a season?
I mean, I think they kind of are collaborative. Like if Luka is having an amazing season, the Lakers are going to be good. I think as long as, LeBron stays healthy, Austin stays healthy, and the role players are at least like average to good, I think they're going to be a really good team. But it kind of hinges, right, on Luka's performance. And I think you saw in the postseason last year, like it kind of went a little undernoticed, I think, but he didn't have a great series. He didn't really look like himself in that series. I think LeBron was the standout Laker in that Timberwolves series. LeBron had a couple of really special games. Luka had special moments, and Luka absolutely is part of the reason they made it to the 3 seed. They won a lot of games that I think they would have lost without him, like especially those Denver games. But yeah, I think it kind of all sort of hinges on how good Luka is and how healthy he can stay.
What are you looking for most? This is going to be a training camp where you have a full month with Luka and LeBron and Austin Reeves, JJ Redick now in his 2nd season as head coach, and the ability to not have to put those guys together on the fly. What are some of the things that you're looking to see or that you're hoping to see with the way they get implemented?
I mean, I think JJ is super smart. I think he's very self-aware, and I think he's going to probably have obsessed over everything that went wrong, especially in that series with Minnesota all summer long. And I think he'll do a lot of self-reflection and sort of introspection this summer. I think he's that kind of guy, and I think he wants to improve and get better. He's insanely competitive. I'm sure it really bothers him that they were a 3 seed and then, got eliminated in 5 in round 1. So, or was it 5? Did they get swept? I don't even know.
No, it was 5. It was 5.
It was 5. I'm like,
it
that's
feels
not
like a million
thinking,
years
right?
ago.
They did win a game. Okay, cool. But yeah, I'm sure JJ is not happy with that. So I think he'll be better this year. And I thought he was an awesome regular season coach last year. It was more in the playoffs that he got exposed for his sort of lack of experience. But I thought he didn't show a lot of like rookie head coachness in the regular season. I felt like he was very prepared and sharp and, a good leader of men, and obviously great with X's and O's. So I expect him to, have an even better showing this year in year 2.
Talking with Claire De Lune, covers the Lakers and the league for The Guardian. You can follow her on Twitter at ClaireMPLS. Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN. Last question for you. You are a very openly acknowledged LeBron stan, so I have to ask you about LeBron. In my opinion, based on observations, things you hear, there is some tension between him and the organization. I feel this if for no other reason than I feel like LeBron is going out of his way to allow that narrative to permeate. Do you have any thoughts on what could be driving a disconnect, assuming you think one exists? And regardless, your thoughts on his short-term and long-term future with the team?
I thought the Lakers were a little disrespectful towards him this summer, to be totally matter of fact about it. Like, I think they, in no uncertain terms, said we're happy to have him this year, but we're reaching the end of the LeBron era and ushering into the Luka era. I don't think they were particularly like lauding in praise for him, or you know what I mean? Like it's not even just that they didn't like bend to his whim and get the players they wanted or anything like that. Like I think he thought, I mean, I'm not going to put words in his mouth. I would imagine, I would hypothesize that he saw it as an insult that they didn't give him that 1+1, that they left him on an expiring contract this year. LeBron famously has never been on an expiring contract. So I think he probably took offense to that. And then the way that it was handled in the press, I think was a little bit, I don't want to say passive aggressive, but it could have been interpreted that way. I think of the Lakers sort of insinuating that the time was coming to a close.
Mm-hmm.
I think now that they did have quite a successful off season, now that Luka looks incredible and looked amazing in Eurobasket, and now that it looks like LeBron is probably going to be there at least for this season, it seems a little bit like water under the bridge to me now. Like it seems like the tensions have subsided and they're both sort of just like, let's make the best of this year together. That's my interpretation of the situation. Is just, I think they're going to have a great season. And I do think LeBron is going to be a Laker through the end of this season. I think next season, which I would imagine is probably his last season, that's where it's kind of more in question.
Last season with the Lakers or last season period?
If I had to guess, I would guess that next season's his last season.
Ooh.
That would be my prediction. That's not like reporting or inside knowledge or anything. He's repeated on many occasions that he wants to leave on top. He wants to still be playing at a really high level when he's done. This year 23, he will have broken the record for longest NBA career. And then next year, Bryce James obviously is NBA eligible, draft eligible. And yeah, I mean, I think it just feels like it's winding down. So maybe one more season after that. But if I had to guess, I would guess that this coming season is the second to last.
I mean, to your point, he has repeatedly mentioned that he mulls over retirement at the end of every recent season. And I don't think that's, a lot of people think that that's LeBron trying to shift the narrative back to him or,
No, I think it's earnest. Yeah.
No, I think it's totally earnest. I mean, this stuff is hard. He's acknowledged it. Like, he can still play at a high level, but it's not easy for him at his age. Like, it requires a lot of work. And I also think that you are hitting on something important with LeBron, the idea that he's played at such a high level for so long, he's not going to want you to see a more vulnerable version of him, where he's not that guy anymore. Like, I always thought that Kobe, pre-Achilles tear, which I think changed the math, but that Kobe would have left the game with a little bit of meat left on that bone, where he's still playing at a high level and you never see him more vulnerable. But then the Achilles tear happened, and I think he wanted to try to prove that he could get himself back on the court in a different challenge. But guys like Kobe and LeBron, I don't think they want to be seen as anything other than a high-level version of themselves.
For sure, and that's understandable. And I think, when you've played as long as LeBron has and at as high of a level as he has, he doesn't need to it's not like he's like, oh, well, my career could go a little longer. He will, if he retires after next year, that's 24 seasons. That's plenty of time to be a professional NBA player. So I think it is, but it is hard, and it's like an existential question of like, you don't want to overstay your welcome to the point where you're tarnishing your legacy, but you also don't want to wonder what if I had played one more season, could I have gotten one more ring, So I'm sure it's a difficult call.
She is Claire De Lune. She covers the Lakers and the NBA for The Guardian. You can follow her on Twitter at ClaireMPLS. Again, listen to her music. She records under the Nom de Plume Tiny Deaths. It's really good stuff. I was listening to it earlier today while I was mapping out this show. Appreciate the time as always, Claire. Thank you.
Thanks so much for having me. Appreciate you.
Yeah, you as well. Again, Claire De Lune from The Guardian covers the Lakers and the NBA. If you want to weigh in on anything that Claire and I talked about, 877-710-ESPN. When we come back, we'll talk more about what may lay ahead for the Lakers with the season opening up next week. Maybe some stuff that Rob Pelinka and J.J. Redick will get into on Thursday at their press conference. Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN.
Vista Paint is California's original paint company and has been serving pros and homeowners since 1956. Our paints are formulated for lasting performance, beautiful finishes, and made to withstand the weather. Vista Paint, locally made, expertly crafted, always reliable.
Summer's almost over, but there's still time to work on that sunburn. Now your top reasons to visit Morongo.
With over 40 big screens showing all the big games, you can catch every play from wherever you eat, stay, and play.
Number 2.
War, live, December 6th. Get tickets now.
And the number 1 reason.
Win a new Dodge Charger Daytona RT. Use your rewards card at your favorite table games to enter through September 28th.
Morongo, good times.
Chris Morales here. Addiction to opioids and stimulants can strip away the things that make you uniquely you. This National Recovery Month, recover your life. Choose a proven addiction treatment option that's right for you at choosechangeca.org.
Hey guys, it's Sedano. It's game time at Hernandez Wholesale Flooring. Just like LAFC protects their home turf, we help you protect yours with quality floors at unbeatable wholesale prices. No gimmicks, no markups, just deals every day. From waterproof hardwood to carpet, laminate to artificial grass, the crazy Hernandez brothers have you covered. Don't settle for anything less than a championship level home. Call them at 866-62-FLOOR, that's 866-62-FLOOR, or shop on the web, hernandezwholesaleflooring.net. No sale beats wholesale.
This is Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetsky.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute. When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
Now back to Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetsky.
Thanks again to Claire De Lune from The Guardian, covers the Lakers, covers the NBA. Again, you should check out her music under the name Tiny Deaths. Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN. And that question of how long LeBron is going to play, it's something that came up in an ESPN survey that just ran, I believe, 20 coaches, execs, and scouts talking about different teams around the league, best players, who they think is going to win the championship, yada, yada, yada. But one of the categories was, what will LeBron be doing in 26-27? Will he be playing for the Lakers? Will he be playing for a different team? Or will he potentially retire? And one of the things that I've talked about on a recent Locked On Lakers, actually. Do I get a ding? Ding? Thank you, DeAndre. As we were talking about, Brian and I, my brother, who I co-host Locked On Lakers with, we were talking about how LeBron is still playing at a very high level, obviously. And depending on what he wants, he can continue going forward. Like, he can still play short of an injury that just changes the math altogether. Because I think if LeBron went through a major injury, he would decide, I'm done. Like, it's over. I don't have, at this stage of my career, a potential 6 months to a year to use on rehab. If I get hurt, I'm done. But assuming LeBron gets through this season in one piece and without any real signs of drop-off, he could keep playing a couple years, and he may want to do that. But if the Lakers win a championship this year, and I think they are a dark horse to do it, but they could. It's possible. If they did, I actually think that could very, very much lead to the possibility of LeBron retiring, because at that point, LeBron would have the opportunity to truly go out on top with a championship. Number 5, he is by definition going to be an important part of that championship run, because the Lakers can't win a championship without LeBron being an important part of it. I actually think if the Lakers win a title this year, there is a possibility that could increase the odds of LeBron retiring and just getting that storybook ending. Squeeze in a quick call before we get to the second hour. Daniel in Santa Monica, you're on Lakers Talk. What's up, Daniel?
What's going on? Thank you so much for taking my call. I just wanted to say briefly and get your thoughts on this. Well, first, I'll say I love the offseason. I love everything we did. However, I just don't understand why we still have Austin Reeves. He's a great player. I like him. but we've seen that he doesn't work in the playoffs. He doesn't work, and he doesn't complement Luka. We can't have him and Luka on the floor at the same time. I just don't understand why we haven't flipped it. Maybe we will. I don't know. I don't know who that player is, but I just think it's got to be someone who's more complementary to the other pieces that we have, which are very intriguing. But we've seen that Austin Reeves doesn't work in the playoffs. We saw it last, like 6 months ago, right? He got waxed by Minnesota. He's a traffic cone. And the year before he had a great series against Memphis, and I think his stock was really high, and I think we should have struck then. But I just want to get your thoughts on that. Look, I like Austin Reeves, so I'm sure you do too. But in terms of the intangibles and the fit, am I crazy here? He doesn't work in the playoffs for what we need from him. Well, what are your thoughts on that?
I appreciate the call, Dan. I love the "Am I crazy?" It's a very John
Ireland calling here.
Am I nuts? Am I nuts, or do the Lakers need to trade Austin Reeves because the fit just isn't there? First of all, the idea of why haven't they traded him? At this point, I think Austin is a weird combination of a player that a lot of teams around the league would like to have, but nobody's going to trade for him. Or at least I think the odds of trading for him are low because he is in all likelihood going to decline his player option and become a free agent in the summer of 2026 when a lot of teams are projected to potentially have cap space. And there's no, even with the winking and, back channel deals that go on and the talking and the whatever, like you can get as many assurances that Austin is going to stay if you trade for him. But the reality is you don't know until it happens. So he is a flight risk in a lot of ways for the Lakers this coming offseason, but he would be a flight risk for any team that would trade for him. The other reason that I don't think the Lakers trade him right now is beyond his value being lowered for the reason I just mentioned. He's also still on a relatively low contract. I think he's making around 15, 17 a year, something like that, which means that you cannot trade Austin straight up for the type of impact player that the Lakers would want right now because Austin's salary isn't high enough. Maybe you could package him together with, I don't know, Maxi Kleber and Dalton or Rui. You start bumping up the salaries, but then it gets more complicated for that other team because they need to have extra space available on their roster in order to fit the extra players coming in from the Lakers. You start getting to that question of if, say, the Lakers trade Austin and Rui, are they actually cutting into too much of their own depth? Like, are they actually worsening their own roster this season if they lose 2 or 3 rotation players, unless they are bringing in a superstar, like an all-star, all-NBA caliber player in exchange for Austin and other pieces? It is difficult on a couple levels to trade Austin right now. I think Daniel hit on an interesting point that if the Lakers were going to trade Austin, they either needed to do it a couple years ago when Austin would not be a flight risk for that team, or, and we can talk about this coming up next, they may need to do it this coming offseason, the summer of 2026, for reasons spelled out by none other than 3-time Laker champion Robert Horry on his own podcast. So we will talk about that coming up next on Lakers Talk, 710 ESPN.
Park, party, and play at Hollywood Park Casino. Join Travis Rogers, Sua Cravens, and special guest me, Chris Morales, this Sunday, September 28th for the ESPN LA Rams postgame show. Live from Hollywood Park Casino. Win prizes like signed sports memorabilia and tickets to an upcoming ESPN LA sporting event. While you're there, enter for a chance to win a brand new Pedigo e-bike. Hollywood Park Casino is LA's hottest card room and the only place where you can park, party, and play 24/7. Hollywood Park Casino. Must be 21 and older. See you there.
You ever notice the harsh feeling and chlorine taste in LA's water? That's why I made the switch to Life Source Water. Their whole house water system gives clean, filtered water from every tap in my house. It's become our essential appliance we love using every day. With Life Source, you deal directly with their local factory. No middlemen, no hassle. Take advantage of a double dip in savings for up to $1,250 off. Call 800-WATER-99 or visit lifesourcewater.com. Warranty limitations apply.
Hey, it's Chris Morales. You know, we joke around a lot that I almost died, which I almost did. I had severe heart failure. That's when I went to a Providence hospital in the emergency room. And here's the thing about heart care. It begins with trust. That's why Providence takes the time to listen, understand, and earn yours before making any decision about your care. For me, if it wasn't for Dr. Cobb and Katie Cornella at St. Joe's in Orange, they made me trust them and they made me know. And my health and my life were going to be even better once I got out of the hospital. Providence, caring with compassion in Southern California.
Feeling stuck on your own 10-yard line in the career game? Maybe it's time to just go for IT. My Computer Career has the game plan to score a rewarding new IT career in months. Whether you're a rookie, a breakout career changer, or a military veteran ready to serve. Why spend years chasing a college degree when you can fast-track your future in IT starting now? Take your mark, get set, go for IT. Take the free career evaluation at mycomputercareer.edu today. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
From kickoff to cash out, ESPN Bet has the tools you need to score more on game days. Bet smarter with stats at your fingertips. Get personalized parlays built just for you. And with your fantasy team synced right in the app, you can back your squad. Right now, new customers get $100 in bonus bets when you bet $10. Sign up with promo code USL to get started. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
710 ESPN, your home for the 17-time world champion Lakers.
KSPN Los Angeles, a good karma brands radio station. This is Lakers Talk on 710 ESPN.
Where Lakers fans tap in for all the latest surrounding the purple and gold.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute. When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
An off-season edition of Lakers Talk is on.
Here's Andy Kamenetsky.
Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN. We are officially a week away from training camp opening. Media Day will be on Monday. Then before you know it, we've got preseason games, regular season games. The Lakers, of course, are going to be on the opening night schedule because damn right they are. They're the Lakers. And then we will have the actual inaugural season of what I have referred to as the Luka era for the Lakers. The half season that he played in 24-25 obviously counts, but everything there was being put together on the fly. Luka was coming back from injury. He was mentally still wrapping his head around a sucker punch trade that hurt him emotionally. I think on a few levels, he had pictured himself being a Mavs lifer. He had been quite literally in the process of buying another house in Dallas when he got sucker punched with this trade. There was Dallas very much bad-mouthing him, creating a narrative of lack of professionalism and that his body was essentially like a
it was fat. I was going to say it was fat Luka.
Oh yeah. He was fat Luka, that old tubby. You couldn't count on him to stay professional enough, Funchy, that he would be worth a max contract. Like ticking time bomb, Luka's body. And they just could not.
Isn't that what
it.
Dallas was thinking? That's why they traded him?
Well, it's what Dallas wants you to think.
Mm-hmm.
If nothing else, it is what Dallas very much wanted everybody to think. But Luka, ever since this entire offseason, has very much felt like Luka messaging, let's effing go, to the Lakers, to his teammates, to the front office, to fans, to the entire NBA watching audience, and also, too, I think to the Dallas Mavericks with his double middle fingers extended. Like, from the offseason transformation in this skinny Luka and running around parading his new body, showing up on Good Morning America and GQ and Men's Health.
Saw Wall Street Journal this week.
Wall Street Journal, the Nike tour that concluded in LA with him signing his extension the very first morning.
Up next for him will be People Magazine World's Sexiest Man.
He's going for it. I'll tell you right now, if he gets a championship, Luka is going to be on the short list for People's Sexiest Man Alive. Like, you win a championship with the Lakers, you put yourself on the short list.
You're on a stratosphere.
Oh, yeah, especially with that body. Luka's got his revenge body, and he is showing off a lot of leg. But the question of the team that is going to be built around around Luka with the Lakers moving forward, one of those questions involves Austin Reeves. And we just had a caller, Daniel in Santa Monica, saying that he thinks the Lakers should have traded Luka a while back and that he doesn't like the fit with Luka and Austin Reeves, and that Austin has too many defensive deficiencies, and that he and Luka are not a good fit moving forward. He is not the only person to raise these questions. First of all, I've actually mentioned before my concerns. I think Austin is a very good player. I have concerns about the long-term fit for a team that is built largely around Luka and Austin. But Robert Horry, Big Shot Bob, 3-time Laker champion, said this on his own podcast, quote, "If the Lakers are smart, they should do a sign-and trade." That would be obviously this coming offseason. And the reason I say that is because when you have a team with two players who are pretty much the same, meaning Luka and AR, I'm not saying they have the same skill set. They play the same position, pretty much do the same thing. It's a wash. Don't get me wrong. I love AR, but you don't need two of the same players. And right there, Horry is hitting on something I've talked about a lot with Luka and Austin and that potential foundation moving forward. It's not that Austin isn't a good player. Austin is a very good player. I think he is considered around the league a consensus top 50, top 60 player in the league, which means you are really good. It's like 500 players in the league. If you are considered top 50, top 60, you're very, very good. I don't know if Austin will ever make an all-star team. It helps to be a Laker, but I don't know if he ever will. The Western Conference is brutal. There are a lot of good guards. But Austin has put up all-star-ish numbers or all-star adjacent numbers. He's very good. And I think he and Luka can play together offensively very well. I think they can complement each other well. The problem is they have a lot of similarities offensively, and they offer a lot of the same things. But then defensively, they have a lot of the same concerns and a lot of the same weaknesses. And I think especially in this new CBA, they can be very punitive, very difficult to work through. There can be a problem trying to build a team with Luka Doncic making 50-something million in his upcoming extension and Austin Reeves projected to make, most people think, somewhere between $30 to $35 million annually. So that's around 80-ish to $90 million on these two players who have similar strengths and similar weaknesses, playing essentially the same position. And it has gotten me to wonder whether or not the Lakers would be better served trying to find a two-way player, like a two-way star, that they can put next to Luka. If you look at most of the good teams around the league, the contending teams around the league, one of their top two players is a two-way player. Like OKC, I think Shea is a two-way player, but even if you don't think Shea is a two-way player, either Jalen Williams or Chet Holmgren, depending on who you think is the second best player, that guy's a two-way player. There's no question about it. Jalen Williams was one of two players who made All-NBA and All-Defense last year. The other guy is Evan Mobley. So he and Donovan Mitchell as the top two players in Cleveland. One of them is a two-way player. Ant, I think, in Minnesota offers the Timberwolves a lot as a foundation with him as their superstar because he's a two-way player. It just becomes very difficult to start putting pieces around top-paid players, your top stars, neither of whom are two-way players. And this is why Claire De Lune, when she was on earlier with me, mentioned that she thought it was kind of disrespectful that the Lakers didn't offer LeBron another 1+1, where essentially he has a player option in perpetuity until he decides he doesn't want one. And I understand where Claire is coming from in terms of LeBron's stature and everything that he has meant both to the Lakers and just to basketball in general. Like, that cannot be disputed. LeBron is arguably the best player in NBA history. Even if you don't think he is top two, top three at the absolute lowest. He is an icon. I think he's the most powerful athlete in North American sports. He is a living, active legend. But for the Lakers moving forward to really maximize their building opportunities around Luka, they can't have $50-ish million open-ended in perpetuity without knowing exactly how to account for it, with it always being at LeBron's pleasure, whether or not he comes back, and the Lakers not knowing if and when he's going to be back for the next season. Like, you can't map out a roster a couple seasons in advance, trying to make your moves if $50-ish million is unknown, TBD. But on top of it, LeBron can be a two-way player when he really needs to be, but at this stage of his career, he, like Luka, he, like Austin, is also primarily a one-way player. And that's why I really feel like moving forward, LeBron, Luka, and Austin together, unless LeBron is taking a pretty significant haircut, you're talking about $100 to like $115 million of three guys who all have very similar offensive traits and the same defensive concerns that will need to be built around. That's too complicated in this new CBA. You just don't have enough wiggle room to make that work. Moving forward with Austin Reeves, it's going to be interesting to see what the Lakers think they can do with Austin, because it seems like they want to keep him. They've been very openly messaging and signaling that they want Austin to be part of the future moving forward. And I get it. I think he's a great locker room guy. I think he's very popular with his teammates. It's interesting. I think he was more of a fan favorite like a year or two ago than
Really?
now.
When I go to the games, I see a lot of Austin Reeves jerseys.
I think the people that love Austin. But I can tell you, as somebody who interacts with Laker fans a lot of Austin Reeves is overrated. The Lakers overcovet Austin. They think he's better.
I hear that too.
Right. I think Austin has grown. Polarizing may be too strong, but I don't think he is quite the fan favorite as he used to be when he was just an awesome story. And I think the Lakers love the story of Austin Reeves and being able to take credit for it. And again, he is a very good player. If Luka was a two-way player, or if, say, the Lakers had Anthony Edwards or Shea, or I think in a couple of years, Jalen Williams, I think he's going to be that good. If one of those guys were your number one players, two-way guy, I would say, fine, Austin's great. Like, Austin is great for that. Like, Austin is a very good player. But I think building around him and Luka, unless you can find a third very high-end player who is a plus defender, like a plus versatile defender, or the type of pieces that Luka had around him on that finals run, where you had Derek Lively, who was still on a rookie scale deal, PJ Washington, Derek Jones Jr., who, by the way, was also on a vet min that year. Like, people forget about that. That's part of the reason that the Mavericks were able to do that. Derek Jones Jr. was on a veteran's minimum. Like, unless you can line up some type of setup like that for the Lakers, I think it's just going to be difficult to put the pieces around Luka and Austin or just Luka, period, that are going to be necessary to create a championship team. But curious what people think. 877-710-ESPN. If you want to weigh in on the future with Luka, the pieces you want around him, does Austin fit into that? Does LeBron fit into that? And coming up, we will also get into an ESPN coaches, GM, and scouting poll that has some very complimentary things about Luka, and I think a very interesting thought about LeBron that was revealed. We'll get into all that coming up next. Lakers Talk, 710 ESPN.
Field and Crown tremble. The Morongo Band of Mission Indians invites you to the 34th Annual Thunder and Lightning Powwow. Enjoy authentic arts, crafts, and the cuisine of Native American culture. All are welcome to this free, family-friendly event. Call 888-MORONGO or go to morongopowwow.com for more information. The Thunder and Lightning Powwow, September 26th through the 28th.
When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. We are ranked number 18 in the nation and number 1 in Orange County for orthopedic and spine care by U.S. News & World Report. From the surf to the green, our world-class doctors are there, which is why more Californians choose Hoag Orthopedic Institute for orthopedic and spine care more than any other hospital. At Hoag Orthopedic Institute, there is no one better at getting you back to you. Proudly founded by premier physicians in partnership with Hoag. Learn more at HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com.
College football is back, and the Coliseum is the place to be. USC football takes on the best in college football, with home games against Michigan, Michigan State, Iowa, and crosstown rival UCLA. Don't miss a single snap, a single touchdown, or the roar of the Trojan Nation. Single game tickets are now available at usctrojans.com/tickets. usctrojans.com/tickets. Fight on!
Are you ready to make a difference for the environment while helping the visually impaired at the same time? Then donate your vehicle to Heritage for the Blind today by calling 1-800-983-6530. Every donated vehicle will either be properly recycled in an eco-friendly manner or given a new life through reuse. Donating your vehicle is easy. Simply call 1-800-983-6530 and Heritage for the Blind will do the rest. They'll even arrange for your vehicle to be picked up at no cost to you. And for a limited time, when you donate your car, you'll receive a $200 restaurant voucher and a 2-night, 3-day hotel stay at one of 50 locations. Call 1-800-983-6530 right now to schedule your vehicle donation and make a positive impact on the environment while helping others. Heritage for the Blind, where every car donation counts and every person makes a difference. Call 1-800-983-6530 now. This advertisement is paid for by Heritage for the Blind.
Join Sedano and Cap every weekday morning for all the sports, fun, chaos, and eating.
There's more? There's one more here if you want.
Quiero más.
Oh, you gonna eat it, Cappy?
Here.
No, I'll eat that thing.
Take it.
What happened
Don't
to
do
pie?
it.
The pizza's over there too. You want pizza too?
Wow, you are a very hungry boy.
I'm such a slob that I might as well just go for it. You know what I mean? What an animal.
Sedano and Cap have taken over Morning Drive on 710 ESPN, the all-new ESPN LA app, and on YouTube at ESPN Los Angeles. 710 ESPN.
The radio home of the purple and gold and the home of Lakers talk.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute.
When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
More Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetsky rolls on.
Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN. Want to get into some interesting stuff that came up in an ESPN poll with 20 different execs and coaches and scouts around the league, asking who standard stuff. Who do you think is going to come out of the East, the West? Who's going to win championship? MVP picks, best players in the league. Some interesting stuff came up about Luka, but also with LeBron. So I want to get into that. But first, let's hear from Thomas in Chicago. You're on Lakers Talk. What's up, Thomas?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I called because I know you guys were just talking about Luka and him playing Eurobasket and obviously how that translates to this season. And I don't know how much you guys watch just because it's in Europe and like the whole streaming service is so weird. Sometimes you have to watch on delay, but if you look at how the Europeans play it, they very much play with defense and how much, so each team probably has 4 pillars of defense, passing, stretching the floor, and each guy is so good at one of those where it's if Luka can't play defense, then he has 4 studs. So I just called him because I just hear this Austin Reeves stuff in LeBron. It's just it was Mark Walter. I don't know if people know with the Dodgers, but the whole thing is about depth. So if we pay, like you said, $115 million for 3 guys who don't play defense, that's a problem. And with Mark Walter, he probably would want to stretch that money out across multiple positions and multiple players like he does with the Dodgers. Now, again, I know there's no cap space, so he can spend more money. But I hope there's a whole, logic behind where it's, paying so much for, either name brand or just a few guys where either A, they're too old or they can't play two ways, like you said, which we've seen the postseason with the Rockets and Thunder. It's like you need two-way guys.
Yeah,
so I'm just thinking about spacing. Yeah.
I appreciate the call there, Thomas. It's an interesting challenge building around someone like Luka, who is one of the best players in the league. I think he is top 5, put him wherever you want, but I think it's hard to make a top 5 list in the NBA without including Luka. He is an offensive system unto himself. He is capable of generating looks for himself, looks for his teammates, as well as anybody in the league. And I think when he wants to be, he can be a reasonably engaged defender. I think he does some things as a team defender very well. He anticipates well. It's why he can sometimes be a defensive playmaker through steals. He's really strong and can often body up opponents. He can cut off lanes and stuff like that. He's very difficult to move. You know, his worst attribute is that of just like one-on-one defense. Like he does not have, he's an interesting combination of, he's got like elite, like 1% or higher deceleration ability, like his ability to slow down, stop on a dime, change speeds. He might be the best in the league at that, but it doesn't necessarily translate the same way on the defensive end. And, you know, by NBA standards, Luka is not an elite athlete. He does not have elite speed. He does not have some of the tangibles that you need to be an elite defender. And I don't think Luka will ever be a truly elite defender, although I do think this version of Luka, skinny Luka, a better conditioned Luka, a lighter Luka, will probably help him along those lines. But it'll be interesting to see how the Lakers approach building around Luka, because the assumption with all teams, but in particular with the Lakers, is they're going to be star hunting. Like the Lakers are going to do the star effery that they are always famous for, associated with, and I get it. And to be fair to the Lakers, every team around the league wants stars. They all do.
Star effing driven talent.
Exactly, John Ireland. But you can make an argument, and I've heard smart people make it. Jason Timp from Hoops Tonight, friend of the show, I've heard him talk about this before, that the best way to build around Luka may be forget the idea of another superstar next to him. Put players who can catch and shoot, who can hit outside shots, who can finish at the rim, who can catch lobs. Like they can do all the skills that Luka can set up for you with open looks, either running to the rim or in the corner beyond the arc. Like all the different shots Luka can set up with a spread floor and a rim running threat, plus the offense Luka can create for himself. And then you supplement that with pieces around him that offset Luka's weaknesses, which are mainly defense and athleticism. Like as an example, and I want to make it clear, I've heard nothing about this guy that I'm about to name being available this coming off season. I'm just looking at the Thunder's books and knowing that they just extended Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren on top of the money that they're already paying Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and the fact that they've got guys like Cason Wallace who are still on rookie scale deals, but I think they picture as being part of the long-term future for the Lakers. I mean, for the Thunder.
And they also have a draft pick from last year who they're really high on.
Yeah,
Nikolai Topic, I believe his name is.
Yes, yeah. I mean, they got a billion draft picks. They've got a lot of young players. Like they are as well situated as you can possibly be for sustainability in this cap world. But I've wondered if a guy like Lou Dort might become available this coming offseason. The Thunder have a team option for him. Cason Wallace is, I think, in a lot of ways, a younger version of what they have in
And it's
Lou
funny,
Dort
Lou
now.
Dort's young.
Yeah,
He's young.
Lou Dort's like 27,
I
28.
know.
Like he's in his prime. But when you start thinking about potential cap casualties
Odd man
or just
out.
odd man out, again, a guy like Cason Wallace is there. He's being groomed to be like a younger, potentially less expensive, at least for now, version of Lou Dort. As you're trying to keep this team together, they've got Alex Caruso. They've got a guy like Topic that you mentioned. They've got I believe his name is A.J. Mitchell. Like they've got
he's going. Yeah.
They've got a lot of young players on the Thunder. I'm wondering if Lou Dort could be a free agent this offseason. Like they decline his
and not
team
even
option.
that, Andy. I'm just going to stop you real quick. They also have a ton of draft picks too.
Yeah,
tons of draft picks. Not even just players, but draft picks.
Right, and they are clearly excellent at developing players. Like they don't hit on everybody, but they hit on a lot. They do a pretty good job. A guy like Lou Dort is, if you are looking for the prototype supporting player around Luka Doncic, it would be Lou Dort.
He's like a younger Dorian Finney-Smith. Way
better.
younger. Yeah, better too.
Better. He's
better shooter.
He's better, period. He's just better, period. He's a better defender than DFS in DFS's prime. He's become, I don't think he's as good of a shooter over the course of his career as Dorian has been, but Lou Dort has become a very good outside shooter. He's become
You can't leave him open.
No, you cannot leave him open. Lou Dort would be perfect alongside Luka. Is it as sexy a name as an all-star or an all-NBA guy like Giannis? Or is he even as high profile as Austin Reeves? No, it's not. But if you're asking me, do I think somebody like Lou Dort or another guy that I think could maybe be another cap casualty with the Thunder, they have a team option, Isaiah Hartenstein, because they've got Chet Holmgren. They paid the other Jalen Williams. They locked him up at a reasonable deal.
Right, the other guy.
They've got another young center. Unfortunately, I think he's going to miss a lot of time this year. I forgot his name.
And also, like I said, draft picks.
Right. Isaiah Hartenstein, I could picture being a cap casualty with OKC.
It's really important what they do over there.
Jeez. He's another guy that would be perfect with Luka. He sets great screens. He gets offensive rebounds.
Great passer. Underrated passer.
Underrated passer. He is somebody that can help complete plays that Luka sets up. He is somebody that you could feed around the rim. Like, he's not a high fly act like a Jackson Hayes or Derek Lively. Right. He's got good hands. Like, guys like that, I think could be really, really good around Luka. You could argue ideal around Luka, and maybe more real. Obviously, they have to become available, and I'm not saying they will be available. There's no guarantee they will be. And guys like, look, if Lou Dort became a free agent, he would be in heavy demand. If Isaiah Hartenstein became a free agent, he would be in demand. I'm not saying the Lakers would automatically be able to get them, but the Lakers may very well have a lot of cap space this coming off season. And I just think it's interesting to think about the ways they could go about building around Luka. And not only does it not have to be stars around Luka, I think you can make an argument that it would be smarter to look for specific skill sets and the elite version of those skill sets to offset what Luka doesn't bring, as opposed to just going for star power. Because Luka creates so much offense just by himself. So it's just, again, something to think about that got sparked by what happens with Austin moving forward, what happens with LeBron moving forward, everybody keeping their eyes on Giannis and Jokic and their situations. But guys like Lou Dort and Isaiah Hartenstein, you can make an argument fit just as well, if not better, as part of a team build with Luka. Coming up, we will get into that ESPN poll and the thoughts about Luka in that poll, and also LeBron in that poll. I thought was really interesting. 710 ESPN Lakers Talk.
Chris Morales here. So many things, big and little, make you uniquely you. Your hobbies, dreams, career, family, and more. Addiction to drugs, including opioids and stimulants, can strip these away from you. This National Recovery Month, recover your life. Choose treatment for drug addiction and get back to what matters most. Find a provider and proven treatment option that's right for you. Recover you at choosechangeca.org.
Thinking about selling your home? Seller's Advantage makes it easy. No agents, commissions, open houses, or costly repairs. They'll give you a fair cash offer with no surprises. One seller said, and I quote, "Seller's Advantage was faster, easier, and more rewarding than listing my house. The offer matched my expectations, and the process was stress-free." Call 888-390-AS-IS or visit sellersadvantage.com for your free cash offer.
DRE number 01961658.
Don't worry, sell happy with Seller's Advantage.
Park, party, and play at Hollywood Park Casino. Join Travis Rogers, Sue Cravens, and special guest me, Chris Morales, this Sunday, September 28th for the ESPN LA Rams postgame show. Live from Hollywood Park Casino. Win prizes like signed sports memorabilia and tickets to an upcoming ESPN LA sporting event. While you're there, enter for a chance to win a brand new Pedigo e-bike. Hollywood Park Casino is LA's hottest card room and the only place where you can park, party, and play 24/7. Hollywood Park Casino must be 21 and older. See you there.
Hey guys, it's Sedano. Looking to score big on flooring? Kick off your project with Hernandez Wholesale Flooring. Every day's a win, no gimmicks, no markups, just the wholesale deals on every surface. Call 866-62-FLOOR or visit them on the web, hernandezwholesaleflooring.net. No sale beats wholesale.
This college football moment is brought to you by ServPro.
College football teams have moments they recovered from and made it like it never even happened. Like on October 2nd, 1993, when the University of California faced a 30-0 halftime deficit to Oregon. Cal went on a remarkable 42-11 run in the second half to capture a 42-41 victory, one of the largest comebacks in college football history.
ServPro, like it never even happened.
Now that I'm a dad, I can't stop thinking about what would happen to my kids if something happened to me, like losing the house or not affording college.
Yeah, that used to keep me up at night too. It's why I finally got life insurance from Ethos. It's 100% online. No medical exams, just a few health questions. I got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day.
I never realized it was that simple. Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Rates may vary. Bill monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male.
Whether it's talking sports or calling each other out when the food bill comes, Sedano and Cap have taken over Morning Drive.
Hey, unlike you, I paid for all my food. Stop that.
Good sandwich.
I support small local businessmen, man. Oh, okay, and I don't. I'm just saying. No, I mean, I don't. You'd want a freebie. Well, I'd support them.
The Sedano and Cap Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. on 710 ESPN, the all-new ESPN LA app, and on YouTube at ESPN Los Angeles.
This is Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetsky.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute. When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
Now back to Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetsky.
Stop your messing around. Better think of your future.
Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN. Refresh my memory. Who is this? This is special?
The specials.
Okay. That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Even though numerous bands have remade this song.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's been redone a bunch of different times. I thought it was the specials, but I was not 100% sure. So we were talking before. There's a new ESPN poll that was conducted with 20 execs and coaches and scouts from around the league, asking various predictions for the upcoming NBA season, which, reminder, begins officially a week from today. Got Media Day. That will be on Monday. Training camp opening Thursday. Rob Pelinka and JJ Redick will be meeting with the media ahead of
You think
media.
Rob Pelinka wears that leather jacket that he was
Okay.
wearing?
I'm planning on being there.
Yeah.
And I want to make it clear because you never know who's listening. I will not waste my question if I am fortunate enough to be able to ask one.
Mm-hmm.
Asking Rob Pelinka what he paid for that leather jacket. But if I could ask any question I wanted, I might actually ask, what did you pay for that jacket? And I want to make it clear.
Did you jump over the shark in Happy Days with it?
I think that jacket's badass. Like, it's a great.
I love it. Yeah.
I think
it
people.
reminds me of Fonzie.
I think people know what I'm talking about. It was that black leather jacket that Rob was wearing during Luka Doncic's introductory press conference. It was a very sleek, form-fitting. Rob's a slender guy, so you want to make sure
Very
that
Euro.
Yeah,
Very Euro.
very Euro-tailored. It is a great-looking leather jacket. I happen to own a black leather jacket. I like leather jackets.
Now I want one.
It was good-looking. Funchy, I got bad news for you. Even without the ability to ask Rob Pelinka, what'd you pay for that jacket, I can promise you and I can't afford it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That is at minimum, I'm guessing at minimum, high four figures, low five.
Me and you are going to Burlington Coat Factory for something like that.
Burlington Coat Factory does not have the leather jacket that Rob was wearing. And again, I want to make it clear, this is not shade against the jacket. I'm not making fun of it.
I love it, man.
I love great looking jacket, looked great on Rob, and it would be a totally inappropriate question to ask him during Thursdays.
Do you think it's coming though? Do you think somebody's going to ask him about it?
I am 1,000% sure nobody is going to ask Rob what he paid for that jacket. I am 1,000% sure.
Do you think we'll see another jacket?
Yes.
On Media Day.
Oh, on Media Day.
Like not a leather jacket. Could be a leather jacket, but a very, very nice jacket.
Rob's going to look good. Rob is a very, very good dresser. He's going to look good at this press conference with JJ. He will be at Media Day. I don't think he's going to take more questions on Media Day, but he'll be there.
He'll be walking around.
Yeah, he'll be walking around. I guarantee he's going to look good. Again, Rob, like by the way, his most famous client, Kobe Bryant, very good dresser. Kobe was a phenomenal dresser. He was fantastic. I remember this was funny. Years ago, we're supposed to be talking about this ESPN poll, but
we're talking about fashion here. Very important.
Years ago, I remember Kobe was doing a post-game presser, and he was wearing this suit that, I mean, clearly Kobe was not buying off the rack. He was having custom-tailored suits. But even by the standard of custom-tailored, presumably imported suits, this suit was amazing looking. And Brian and I, my brother Brian, we were both at this press conference. We were not sitting next to each other, though, in this postgame presser. We were in different parts of the room. Independently, we both got caught up in Kobe's suit. We were both like, that is one of the best-looking suits I have ever seen.
Now, were you and Brian the only two that were, like, just focused on the suit? Were there other people in the media room?
I don't know. I don't know, but we discovered that independently, we both kind of lost track of anything Kobe was talking about during this presser. We both were recording it and just listened back because we both were like, God damn, that is an effing amazing suit. Like that, you knew that it would be tailored precisely for Kobe and all that, but just it was stunning.
Now I want to find that suit.
I don't remember which game it was. I mean, this was a good probably 15 years ago.
Of course.
I just remember we were both like, oh my God. Like, that is impeccable. And like Kobe, Rob Pelinka, who famously repped Kobe for years, Rob is also a dresser at that level. But the ESPN poll, one of the categories was, very standard question, who will be MVP? The leader among 20 voters, Nikola Jokic, no shock, he got 7. Then SGA with 5. Luka Doncic coming in at 3rd with 4 votes. And this represented, by the way, a lot of positive feedback towards Luka in this poll. First of all, that Luka would get this many votes for MVP or predictive votes for MVP, I think also signals a reasonable amount of confidence that the Lakers are going to have a good season. Because unless Luka just puts up otherworldly numbers on a 6 or 7 seed, you need to be a 4 or higher, generally like a 3 or 2 or higher, in order to have a reasonable shot at MVP. It's not impossible, but generally speaking, you need to be one of the top 3 seeds in your conference to have a serious shot at MVP. So, side note, if, a fifth of the voters thought Luka was going to win MVP, that means a fifth of those voters thought the Lakers were going to have a very strong season. There was also a question, who is the best player in the league? Out of 20 voters, 19 went to Jokic. Again, no shock there. Jokic is the perennial best player in the world frontrunner. But the only other vote getter was Luka. It was 19 for Jokic, 1 for Luka. And then there was a category, Funchy, that I found very interesting. Who will be the best player in the league in 5 years? Wemby came out at number 1.
Of course.
Yeah, and again, very obvious.
Probably the right answer.
Yeah, it's a very obvious, sensible answer. But Luka came in second.
Wow.
And that, to me, really speaks to just how fortunate, as Scott Kaplan would say, what a fortunate moment we find ourselves in. That the Lakers find ourselves in, and we, as Laker fans, find ourselves in, to have a player of Luka's caliber just entering his prime, the fact that Luka is in the MVP mix now, but also these people polled, execs, coaches, scouts, think Luka could be on the short list of best players in 5 years. It speaks to the runway that the Lakers potentially have, the opportunity that they potentially have with Luka. It's not just his talent for right now. It's the potential roadmap that the Lakers have in front of them. Like, I remember I asked Rob Pelinka while he was wearing that jacket during Luka's introductory press conference, like, beyond Luka's talent, what does it mean to you as the person running basketball ops to have a player of Luka's talent in his prime as you're looking to map out team building? And his response was, it means everything. Like, it truly does. Like, the opportunities now, they're in front of Rob Pelinka. I'm not saying his job is easy, because the job's hard. And the pressure is ratcheted up that much more. And he is now looking to keep his job with Mark Walter moving forward as opposed to Jeannie Buss moving forward. But it doesn't change the fact that Rob has an incredible opportunity in front of him with Luka at age 26. Another category, though, that was really interesting, Funchy, where will LeBron James be at the start of the 2026 season? Out of 20 votes, 7 went to the Lakers, 5 went to retired, 4 for the Cavs, 2 for the Warriors, 1 for the Mavericks, 1 for the Heat. One anonymous person polled said, quote, if I was taking the Lakers or the field, I'd take the field. But I'd take the Lakers over any specific team, especially given they are the one with a clear path to pay him. And that's what I think is really interesting about this whole poll. Like, the field obviously beat the Lakers. The field was 13-7 over the Lakers. But as far as any specific scenario, the Lakers got the most votes. And then if you remove retirement, the Lakers got 7 votes compared to 8 over 4 other teams. And I think it really speaks to the idea that for all of the perceived and reported discontentment between the Lakers and LeBron,
or how the Warriors want to trade for LeBron,
right,
and all this
all
crap,
that different stuff.
He wants to go back home to Cleveland, all that stuff.
All those different rumors. We've heard multiple reports that the Warriors have checked in on LeBron's availability. The homecoming to Cleveland makes sense from a narrative perspective, and also they've got a pretty good roster. It would be very hard to bring LeBron in there unless he was basically willing to pay for like a mid-level or something like that, or maybe even less. But that makes narrative sense. The Warriors are always going to be lingering. People would understand the Mavericks with AD a reunion, Kyrie a reunion, Cooper Flagg being there. People would understand the Miami Heat, another reunion. He's there with Riles, helped invent Heat culture, yada, yada, yada. But the Lakers, by a pretty wide margin, if you're not thinking LeBron is going to retire, the Lakers were considered the front runner for where LeBron will be next season. And I think it does speak to the idea, Funchy, that if you combine competitive roster, ability to get the most money, location, and also narrative, because you could be closing your career with the Tiffany franchise in the NBA. Possibly, you end up going down as one of the all-time greats with this particular franchise that has had so many all-time greats before him. You don't change teams yet again, because that is one of the things that people have used to detract against LeBron, the amount of that he's moved around. Location, he clearly wants to be in LA, all things being equal. Frankly, he's had multiple opportunities to leave, and he hasn't. Even with the tension that I do think exists between the Lakers and LeBron, it's been pretty well documented and reported. Plus, LeBron has gone pretty far out of his way, I think, to allow that narrative to linger, because he could just put this to bed by saying everything's cool, and he hasn't. And that all began with the opt-in message from Rich Paul, which created uncertainty about LeBron and his relationship with the Lakers.
This poll tells me, this is by executives and people want to know and blah, blah, blah. Like, he's either going to be a Laker or he's going to retire.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like,
Get it over with, people.
Whether
get it through your thick head.
Whether LeBron is completely satisfied with his situation with the Lakers or not, and for what it's worth, I think he's not completely satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he actually has a better option than the Lakers if he wants to keep playing. I don't know if he actually has one. And it may just be one of those marriages of convenience, which I think to some degree it's always been between LeBron and the Lakers. I'm not saying LeBron doesn't care about being a Laker, because I think he does. And in particular, during the title season, between bringing in that championship, being a part of shepherding the franchise through Kobe's death, and very outwardly saying that he wanted to carry that burden, very outwardly being part of a championship that was dedicated to Kobe, and they wanted to win in honor of Kobe. Like, I think there's been elements of being a Laker that have meant a lot to LeBron, but it's also at times felt transactional, like a marriage of convenience in some ways on both sides. But that doesn't mean that there's necessarily hostility. Like, it may be one of those marriages of convenience where you're not really in love anymore.
But you grow to love each other.
Or just, you know what? We like each other enough.
Nah.
And, like,
we
it's
don't have
fine.
any better options.
We're comfortable. Yeah.
We don't have any better options.
We don't have any better options. We're comfortable.
We're doing this for the kids.
I mean, you could really torture this metaphor to death and acknowledge one of those kids is actually LeBron's teammate. Like, if you really just wanted to just unpeel all of the layers of this tortured metaphor, like, it's just a marriage of convenience, but that doesn't mean that it's a marriage of convenience that's also fueled by hostility and resentment. It's just one of those, you know what, we're not in love anymore, but we're in like enough, and it's comfortable.
And we're just going to stick together until the kids go to college.
Exactly. And
we have an empty nest.
Again, taking this metaphor even further, like, LeBron's kids are not ready for college, but LeBron is about to hit the empty nest stage of an NBA career, because he's even acknowledged the end is far, far closer than the beginning. All right, we will close as always with Crunch Time. Funchy's got the topics. I will weigh in. If the kids in the back with the social media want to weigh in, they also can as well. That will be Crunch Time closing out. Lakers Talk, 710 ESPN.
Field and Crown Tremble. The Morongo Band of Mission Indians invites you to the 34th Annual Thunder and Lightning Powwow. Enjoy authentic arts, crafts, and the cuisine of Native American culture. All are welcome to this free, family-friendly event. Call 888-MORONGO or go to morongopowwow.com for more information. The Thunder and Lightning Powwow, September 26th through the 28th.
College football is back, and the Coliseum is the place to be. USC football takes on the best in college football, with home games against Michigan, Michigan State, Iowa, and crosstown rival UCLA. Don't miss a single snap, a single touchdown, or the roar of the Trojan Nation. Single game tickets are now available at usctrojans.com/tickets. usctrojans.com/tickets. Fight on!
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. We turn to some funny places for support, but not everyone is a therapist. Not everyone is the one. Find your right match with BetterHelp. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Find the one with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/timeout. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/timeout.
Pechanga Resort Casino is rewarding you on another level. Bring in a rewards card from one of 16 Southern California casinos and access exclusive benefits with Pechanga's tier status match program. Qualified members can even win $25,000 club dollars. But hurry, this limited time offer ends December 31st and match statuses remain valid through January 31st, 2026. Open to new and existing Pechanga club members. Visit the club at Pechanga for more details. Must be 21 or older with valid ID.
It's more than just a morning show. It's Familia.
A celebration of familia, cultura, and the strength.
But familia, I got. Catura?
Cultura. Culture.
Cultura.
Come on, Cap.
I mean, dude, speak Spanish, will you?
Wake up with Sedano and Cap. Weekday mornings, 7 to 9 a.m.
But you're the Wedo on the radio.
No, but everybody knows
That could be your on-air name. Hey, everybody, it's Wedo on the radio.
On 710 ESPN, the ESPN LA app, and the YouTube-only hour, 9 to 10 a.m.
crunch time on Lakers Talk.
When the clock is ticking and it's all coming down to the wire, you know what that means.
This is crunch time.
All right, as always, we close out with crunch time. Funchy's got the topics. I will weigh in. The kids in the back with the social media are free to weigh in if they'd like to as well. What you got there, Funchy?
I meant to bring this up last week, but I didn't have enough time. But apparently the Dallas Mavericks had some kind of team bonding experience, I guess, for a couple days. They had a dinner. They were hanging out. They practiced with each other. And I guess it was Klay Thompson, Anthony Davis, Max Christie, Dwight Powell, P.J. Washington. They were all hanging out in Newport Beach. Do you think this is a good thing for teams to do right before training camp kicks off?
Absolutely. I think, you reconnect together, you get yourself all back on the same page, rediscovering that common goal. I think it's a great way to get yourself psyched up for an upcoming season, man. We forget it's long. Like, seasons are really, really long. It is a grind. So I think anything you can do to get yourself psyched up and in the right mind space for this sort of thing, I think it's great.
Yeah, it takes me to when the Lakers, their championship year, they went to Vegas, I believe, and they had like Camp LeBron, basically.
Yep.
Yes, and they bonded. Rondo was there, KCP, like all these guys were, they instantly hit it off. And then, yeah, I think it makes your team just like you a little bit more.
I think especially, too, it's important, like you were talking about Dallas, like they're a team that has a lot to figure out. Like they're going to be playing most of, if not the entire season, without Kyrie Irving. Anthony Davis missed most of his time with Dallas. He didn't play a ton
and
of games.
And now the new report is that he's going to miss the first game or two because of his eye, right?
Right, but he is starting to practice again.
Yeah.
I think that's good. Like he's been, I want to say from Mark Stein, a report that he was back on the floor again, doing some workouts. PSA, I've been saying this now for years as somebody who's been a big Anthony Davis proponent. My dude, put on some goggles. I mean, like at this point, what is it going to take for Anthony Davis just to recognize he's got to wear goggles?
Sometimes you just don't want to look like like Steve Urkel out there.
I'm just saying, man, like at some point, like you've had, what was this, like retina
Maybe
surgery
contacts are better for him. I don't know.
No, dude, just put on the damn goggles. Like if they were good enough for Kareem and they were good enough for James Worthy, they're good enough for you, Anthony Davis. I'm sorry. Like, Kareem and James Worthy I think they are considered at a hierarchy level than Anthony Davis. A hierarchy level higher than Anthony Davis.
Yes, definitely Hall of Famers, and yeah, he could be following this up to
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Put on the goggles. I beg of you, Anthony Davis. As somebody who cares, put on some goggles.
All right, now we talked about Fred VanVleet's injury earlier on today in the last hour. He's going to be out for the year, and now we're seeing things on social media, and we've already talked this in a break, but let's entertain this idea. Russell Westbrook going back to Houston to play for the Rockets, reunited with KD. What do you think? I know it can't possibly happen mathematically, but what if it could happen?
Oh, I'm here for the drama. I'm here for the storyline.
Don't you want them to reunite like peaches and herbs?
Well, at that point, then, I want the Rockets to figure out some type of deal where you bring James Harden back, and you just get the three of them.
No, not even that. Bring Serge Ibaka out of retirement.
Out of retirement, you bring Serge Ibaka, and at that point, Steven Adams is with them.
Oh.
So it's basically the Expendables version of the Thunder.
And someone get Kendrick Perkins out of ESPN, the building over here, and
you mentioned before, like, whether you think this is a good idea, bad idea, it's complicated by the fact that the Rockets are up against the first apron and don't have enough room to sign Russ even on a vet min deal. So they would have to clear cap space to bring in Russell Westbrook, which feels like a lot of work for Russ.
I know. I just saw that he's like maybe 153 points away from being the number one scoring point guard in history.
Look, man, Russ was a great player. Like, he, Hall of Fame lock, great player. I actually think in a lot of ways.
Great person, too.
Great person, great for this city. That dude loves Los Angeles. And he has put a lot of money and resources towards making LA better. Like, he truly loves this city. And I think people don't actually appreciate just how great Russ's prime years were. But that said,
Andy, he averaged a triple-double for 2 years in a row.
And you know what's funny, actually? Because people have detracted against that like he was stat hunting.
No.
Well,
you know how hard it is?
That's what I was getting at. I heard Baron Davis, I don't remember which show it was, but he was on a podcast, and he was talking about that. And he said he disputed the idea that Russ was just out there chasing stats to begin with. But he said, let's just say for the sake of argument, Russ was. That he was just going out there every game chasing stats for a triple-double. He's like, do you know how hard that is to do? He's like
how much running you have to do and how much ball handling.
96% of the players in the league, if they set out to get triple-doubles, could not pull it off on an even, forget semi, what's a level below semi-regular, like quarterly regular, like whatever. Semi-frequent basis, much less with the volume that Russ did. He's like, it is so hard to do that, even if that is your goal. Like, it's so much harder to do than I think people.
And he did it 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
2 years in a row.
And I know Russ has never won a championship. Russ's teams, though, have done a lot of winning. That guy has he's only missed the playoffs a couple times in his entire career. That's impressive. Like, that is legitimately impressive to do. Thank you to everyone, obviously, for listening tonight. All the listeners, whether you are listening to the app, listening in your car, or watching on YouTube, very much appreciate it. Thank you to Claire De Lune from The Guardian, covers the Lakers, covers the NBA, for swinging by. Thanks to DeAndre, who had to get home because he is exhausted from his trip to Philadelphia. Thanks to Funchy. Thanks to the kids in the back with the social media. We will be back next week at the 7 to 9 time, and that will be on the heels of Media Day and training camp opening. A lot to talk about. We will get into it then. Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN.
Hey, it's Chris Morales. You know, we joke around a lot that I almost died, which I almost did. I had severe heart failure. That's when I went to a Providence hospital.